Coming into Samastitihi, an equal standing position. So I like to have my feet hip distance apart here and bringing our hands into Anjali Mudra, so a prayer position at the heart. Now what we're doing is simply noticing. So as we press down through the feet, notice without trying to fix anything. Notice the breathing or non-breathing. And can we smile in lovingly without trying to fix? As if we're saying, I see you. I see whatever is going on, and I'm going to allow space for this in my practice today. We're going to just allow ourselves to be as we move. Now from here, press down through the four corners of the feet. You can C-shape if you'd like. So inhale, lift the top chest, realign the pelvis. And then exhale, hands back down through Anjali Mudra. Let's repeat that. So what we're doing here is we're pressing the floor away. Make a little C shape in your back so you can stretch the sternum up and then realign your pelvis. Now what that should feel like is a nice squeeze in the back. Let's take a nice breath in through the nostrils, inhaling. Make sure you do bring your pelvis back in line. Now forward folding, bringing our hands to our hips. Hips move towards the groins. Now you should feel this little stretch here and come up. Inhale, move those hips towards the groins. No matter how high you are, that's fine. And come up. Let's continue. Inhaling. And then pressing through the feet one more time. Inhaling, hips move towards the groins. Get that nice little stretch. Now let's roll down one vertebra at a time through the spine. Our knees are nice and bent here. Hands can be anywhere, doesn't matter. Press through the feet, tailbone tucks, stacking the vertebra one at a time. Focusing now on what our vertebra is doing. As we roll down, pretend you're peeling your vertebra away from an imaginary wall. And as you roll back up, the tailbone tucks, stacking the vertebra one at a time. Okay, let's bring our awareness in. You've got the move a little bit. And just notice the sensations now. Notice the breathing, the tendency to hold the breath when we're trying something new. And again, allowing space for that, simply noticing. Now this time, we'll take a pause anywhere there's tension. So a little bit of qigong. Allow the back to round. So we're not lengthening like we normally do. Allow the back to round, and it should feel like your vertebrae are opening, or the back is opening. It should feel nice. Let's breathe in and out through the nostrils here. Without trying to fix, we're noticing the tendency to hold the breath. Now from here, come all the way down to the floor and back into our balasana, our child's pose. Big toes together, knees are wide. Extended Utthita Balasana, so lift your elbows, cupcake hands, And let's lengthen through the spine, relaxing the lungs before the breath comes in and out. Allow the tension to melt away where there's any tightness on each exhalation. Can we relax the lungs before the breath comes in, like we're accidentally breathing? So we're not trying to breathe at all, we're simply relaxing. Coming up into a yoga tabletop position and cat-cowing the spine, so sending the sit bones back and up, inhaling. Still relaxing the lungs before the breath comes in and out, exhaling, rounding up through the spine. Inhaling. You can keep your elbows straight if you wish. I like to bend them a little bit. And exhaling, moving each of our vertebrae. So again, what we're doing here is relaxing the lungs before the breath comes in and out and articulating each vertebra in our spine. Syncing breath with movement. Inhaling, we concave. And exhaling, we're rounding up through the spine. Your variation of Anahatasana, puppy pose. So maybe you're here simply relaxing the chest and heart down towards the floor. Over time, maybe the arms extend, forehead to the floor, or even chin is on the floor, but no drama here. What we want to feel is, whatever position, a squeeze around the back. A release around our shoulder blades. Let's come back to the breath and noticing. Now imagine the breath is a tide. As we relax, accidental breathing before the breath comes in and out, visualize that the tide of breath is moving up and around you on the inhalation. And down and around you on the exhalation. Continue to visualize that as you allow the release. Try not to force the breath. So we're facilitating the breath. Imagine you're not only filling the lungs with breath, this tide of breath. Think of filling the space around the body. Breath moves up and around the body. Fill that space on the inhalation. And like a tank emptying out, the tide of breath moves down and around the body on the exhalation. One more round. Let's come all the way out of that. Hands are a little bit in front, so not under the shoulders. Tuck the toes and finding your first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's bend our knees here. Ripple the energy up through the spine. Stretch your sternum forward. Keep your sternum, so your top chest stretching forward, and find the energy out through the sit bones. So stick your bum out. Let's do that again. Inhale, bend the knees. Ripple the energy up through the spine. And on the exhalation, length for the low back. Top chest stays lifted so we don't slump. One more time. Inhale, bend. Ripple the energy up through the spine. And on the exhalation, length for the low back as we keep the armpits lifted away from the floor. Let's from here lower the knees to the floor, scoot all the way over onto our buttocks and lift the feet. So some nice little hip circles here. Now you've got that breath, the tide of the breath, the visualization. If you're getting breathless, you're doing too much. So the first step is relaxing the lungs. Knees move away from each other, down towards the bottom of your body, back together and up the center line, back up towards your face, and repeat. Let's change the direction. Knees move down the body together, away from each other, back up towards your face, together and down the body together. Keep going, keep breathing. Left leg extends, hug the right knee into the chest and come back to the breath. Now let's use the traditional yoga stretching technique of releasing the physical tension. Visualize that the tension is draining away from the body on the exhalation. Let's sweep that knee across the body into a twist and keep going with that breathing where the breath is moving up and around the body, down and around the body, and we're releasing on the exhalation, like we're dropping the tension into the tide of our own breath. Can you really fill that space around your head with breath as well, with the visualization, with the relaxation, as well as allowing the lungs to fill? Squeeze the belly back to the center, other side. Keep going, make the breath first, and then the order will be good. So usually we emphasize the physical, right? Hugging left knee into the chest, and we're releasing around the hip with the exhalation. And then finding our twist. Keep the left shoulder anchored to the floor. Keep your low back long so it's not a back bend. It shouldn't hurt. Use your breath. Breathe into the space around your head, around the torso. Back to the center. Feet into our baddha konasana, or supine cobbler's pose, or supta baddha konasana. And one hand on our low belly and one on our top chest. Have a little wiggle, so releasing around the hips. And letting go of the breathing practice, but allowing the tension to drain away from the body still. Feel free to support your knees with blocks or cushions if there's any pain. So not a stretching sensation, something else. Prop those knees. And we're going to simply bring our awareness in underneath our hands and notice lovingly any sensations in the body, any emotions we don't understand. Remember, we're not trying to fix, we're being here for ourselves. Can you smile into every corner, that yogic smile, the awareness, right? The love, the loving kindness of our own gaze. Accepting all we find. Just walk your gaze around the body, any emotional hotspots of tension or physical or things you don't even understand. Notice smiling. Now, carefully lengthening the legs out, we're simply coming into Shavasana, yet continuing our practice of noticing. So making sure arms and legs are out at equal distance. Bend your knees if you need to for the low back. And simply noticing and perhaps saying inwards, I love you exactly as you are. And then leave a pause and notice. Do that a few times. I love you exactly as you are. Leave a pause and observe. You can stay a little bit longer or wiggle fingers and toes. In your own time, rolling over onto your right hand side. Pressing ourselves all the way up into any easy cross-legged position. Let's bring our hands on our own shoulders, like we're giving ourselves a hug. And repeating, I love you exactly as you are. We're practicing holding space for ourselves. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining me today.